Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my chaotic mess. If you're new here, my name is Melissa. Today, we're going to start our July reading recap, but we're going to do things a little different this month. Also, in August, we're doing something different too. I want to kind of mix things up a little, make them a little more interesting. So, for the month of July, we're going to be reading off of the Goodreads challenge list. This list does go through until September 14th. Sorry. So we're going to be picking stuff off of here. I'm going to get screen record on here so we can record this so you can see the screen. What am I talking about? Anyway, okay. Let's explain the challenge first. Let's explain what I want to do first. What I want to do is I want to do one thing, like one book at a time. And then when I finish that book, I'll come back, recap it with you guys, and then we'll pick the next book in the challenge list. So let me get the screen record on here. All right, so the first three, like the Page Turner, the Speed Reader, and Book Boss, they're all based on how many books you've read. So Page Turner is 2, Speed Reader is 3, and Book Boss, I believe, is 5. I don't know, I always get those 3. They're on every challenge list, so I was gonna do, maybe I'll do it for the next one. You'll see. I'm gonna do a funny. All right. Sorry. Let's check community picks here, and we're gonna browse qualifying books. And I usually try to look for either ones that are on Kindle Unlimited, or like I've just bought one book for sure that was on my TBR. So I try to look for books, let me specify. I try to look for books that are on Unlimited or on my TBR. So that's how it goes. What is this anyway? I love the 90s. So this is going to be something that was published in the 90s. And I kind of just honestly skim through these and see what's on there first. And I feel like I need to sneeze. Oh, I do like John Grisham, but I've already seen that movie, so I know what you did last summer. It was, like I said, like the book was okay, but to me it was nothing like the movie per se. So The Virgin Suicides. Oh, I've wanted to read that, and it's on Unlimited, so maybe. Oh, I love James Patterson, but none of his books are on Unlimited, so I would have to buy it, and I haven't read that one yet. So what is that? A Suitable Boy. That just, or what are these classics? Oh, just 1993. We're not even given genres in this one. You're just hoping for the best, I guess. Not much on Unlimited, which doesn't surprise me because while they do have Wicked, I could do Wicked. I've seen Wicked so many times, like not just the one. I've maybe seen it on, I don't even know why I said that. I've seen like retellings of Wicked so many times because, never mind, just, it is what it is. I've seen the storyline so many times that I don't think I would enjoy the book. So I didn't even know it was a book. I thought it was a playwright. Like, Romeo and Juliet. It might be a playwright for all I know, but I also thought it was older than the 90s for some reason. I don't know. I thought it came out back around the time of Wizard of Oz for some reason. The Notebook's on here. I've seen the movie though, so again. Ooh, Game of Thrones. I've seen the show so many times. It's one of my favorite shows. I know, controversy there, because a lot of people that have read the books absolutely hate the shows, and I guess that's one thing I had going for me when I went into watching the shows, is I honestly didn't know they were books first. And I absolutely love Game of Thrones. I think the ending could have been drawn out a little more. I think they rushed it too much, and I think the whole battle should have been like a season 9. I think they completely rushed that. So, Fight Club. The Red Tent. See, a lot of these are movies I've seen. So, the Poisonwood Bible. Daughter of Fortune. The Hours. The Hours. I feel like that. A daring, deeply affecting third novel by author. Oh, so is a third, or is it a third in a series? It doesn't say. Okay, so this one takes place in World War II. I'm not big on war books. I mean, I shouldn't say that, because I used to read James Sanderson, and he's a big war guy, but they were also like books we had around the house when I was a teenager. So I'm guessing maybe my dad's or maybe my mom read them. I don't know, but I read them. A Walk to Remember, I have read that book. It's so good, and the movie is so good as well. It's one of the few books to movies that I actually love both. Twilight's the other one, which I do think, and I get where the people that love the Twilight books hate the movie, but like I can see the beauty in both, I guess. Like I actually do enjoy the movies. So also, fun fact, in the books, that battle scene at the very end, I know, spoiler alert, it doesn't happen in the books. What is this? Speak. I was hoping this wouldn't take so long, so obviously I'll probably speed it up for you guys. So I'll stay quiet for now and then speed it up for you guys. I'm hoping this is the only point in the video where I have to speed this up, because let me tell you, to get them, I mean, I know I'm not talking during this, so it maybe doesn't make sense to you guys, but like to get the speeds to match up to the film, or what am I trying to say? The film to the screen recording was a pain, a major pain to match up to a sped up version. So anyway, okay. So originally we were gonna go with a book called If You Say So. If You Say So, I think is what it was called. I don't remember now. Shoot. I really don't remember what it was called. I'll tell you here in just a moment. But anyway, I went onto my Kindle to see how much it costs, and because it was not on unlimited, and it was like $16. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying this to be like rude to the author or anything, but I refuse to pay that much money for something that's that old. You know, I wouldn't even pay that much money for Gone with the Wind. And that is actually not on my TBR, but I've always wanted to read it. So, anyway, I think it was If You Say So, or If It Makes You Happy. That's the one we were gonna read. It's a romance novel, so I was like, oh, I could easily read that. But we're going with The Virgin Suicides, and it is, let's do book details. Oh, this one was a republishing. Because I was like, published date 2002. That doesn't work. Anyway, it's 250 pages, so it's a pretty short book. Some of the comments said it was depressing, and some of them said it was the classic literature that they needed. That, you know, I don't know how I feel about wait, hold on. Is this not the original one? I only asked this because this person says, I still own that copy of The Virgin Suicides that I first read in high school, the evidence of my teenage self on its pages. I still remember the original encounter, how I felt about the player. Da, 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 da. This is the introduction, so I'm just kind of reading through it. This is the one that's on the challenge. But even in Goodreads, it says published date 2002, which makes me think it's not the original one. I don't know. It says introduction. See? Introduction. It doesn't say like chapter 1. And so now I'm going to go and see if there's another book called The Virgin Suicides. Because that's weird. Especially since this is 2002 and these are supposed to be flashbacks to the 90s. But this, I literally clicked on this one in the challenge list. No, there's only the one. Huh. Okay, well, we'll read this. So maybe that's the book. Maybe it's a book talking about a book. I don't know. If you've ever read it, let me know. But this is going to be the first book we read. And then once we get this book read, it's pretty short. It's telling me it's a 6-hour book. So I could probably have this done. Well, I would say in a day, but like today's not a sit down and read day. I actually have stuff I have to do today. So I won't get to really start it until later in the evening. I just wanted to get this filmed first thing this morning because I stayed up last night waiting for them to like switch over from June to July, and they didn't. So I stayed up till 12. I said 12:30, right? Oh, they never did. So I was like, whatever, I'm going to bed and we'll do this in the morning because I wanted to do it last night so that if I felt like reading first thing in the morning, I could. But what we'll do is I'll read this book what did I say? It was only like 200 and some pages. Yeah, it's only 250 pages. So then I'll come back, recap it with you guys, and then we'll go to the next challenge. Oh my gosh. We'll go to the next challenge thing on there, which is going to be that one was from Community Pick. It's going to be under challenge faves. And I'm not pre-looking. Normally I will go through all of them and try to find ones that have same books to kind of pick off the challenges faster, but this time I'm not doing that. We're going to be honest and accurate this month. And we're going to start with the Virgin Suicides, and we'll see what we get next time. So I will be back with you guys when I finish the Virgin Suicides. Okay. I did it. The Virgin Suicides. Okay. I have to say this. If you enjoy that book, kudos to you. It was so boring to me. Like, so boring. I almost DNF'd it so many times, but I'm like, I put so much time into this book already. A book that is only 250 pages, and normally a 250 page book I can get through no problem. This one dragged and dragged and dragged, and oh my god. Let me tell you, there's so much unnecessary content in this book. Like, it's almost like the author originally wrote a completely different thing, and the editor said, no, too short, add more. And so he just put some useless crap in there. So The Virgin Suicides is written by Jeffrey Eugenides, I don't know. Anyway, so there's 5 sisters. There's the Lisbon sisters. And one summer, the youngest, Cecilia, slits her wrists in the bathtub. And then she survives that. But then later on, like, her parents throw a party, like a co-ed party that chaperone at the behest of the psychiatrist, right? And sometime during that party, she asks permission to leave, and she ends up jumping off her roof and landing on the spikes of a fence, and therefore she is no longer with us. So, and then the book drags on and on and on and on, and then we get to talking about Lux, which is the next youngest, and she's promiscuous. Let's just say she finds love in sex, basically, is how I kind of interpreted it. And let's go back to Cecilia though, because part of the whole thing, like, after she there was a cemetery strike going on at the time, and so they could not bury her, but they did go ahead and have a funeral. I guess because of her age, the picket line decided to split open to let them into the cemetery to have the funeral. But after the funeral, she went back into the deep freezer until she could be properly buried, right? Anyway, then fast forward, the girls go back to school like nothing's wrong, and so on and so forth. And then this guy Trip, what's his name? Trip? I'm pretty sure it was Trip. I'm looking, and in here to see if it tells what the guy's name is. Yeah, Trip. It's Trip. So he's infatuated with Lux, right? So he talks to Mr. Lisbon about taking her to homecoming. Well, the Lisbons, mainly the wife, is like super strict. Let me just, I'm going to interrupt myself here. It's the mother's fault. That's all I'm going to say, because if my mother was like that and my father was that spineless, did not stand up to it, I'm telling you right now, living with that mother would have been suffocating for anyone. It's the mother's fault. It never specifically says that, but it's the mother's fault. I should also preface that this book is from the POV of one of the young boys that grew up knowing the Lisbon sisters. So you don't really ever find out what their train of thought is, but you know from the perspective of these young men that are now grown men, because the whole book is them reflecting back on the Lisbon sisters, right? And right, so then they're like, in the book they're conducting interviews with like random people that used to know the Lisbons, and kind of seeing, they're trying to figure out, still as adults, why the girls would do what they did, right? Anyway, so back to Lux and Trip. Trip is infatuated with Lux. Talks to her dad about the homecoming. He says he has to get permission from the wife. Eventually, it's agreed upon that they can go if he can get people for his other daughters. So him and 3 other guys take the Lisbon sisters to the homecoming dance. And during the dance, Trip and Lux are crowned homecoming king and queen. He kind of talks her into sneaking off, and they go to the football field, and well, they go to the football field. First of all, I don't want to give it away, but they go to the football field, and and at that point, for some reason, because like I said, Trip was infatuated with her, and for some reason, he just ups, right after the deed, just kind of ups and leaves her, and makes her figure out how she's getting home herself. So, so Lux doesn't arrive home until like after midnight, and needless to say, she was in so much trouble to the point where after that homecoming dance, her mom had all the girls pulled out of school, and they were basically locked down in the house. They were not allowed to go anywhere except church. So again, you see why I'm saying it's the mother. So basically, it goes on for a few months, and then they go back and forth. They like secretly send notes to the boys in the neighborhood, and yada yada yada. Long story short, the sisters apparently come up with a plan, but again, we're looking at this from the boys' perspective, so we don't know the plan, right? We don't know what they were thinking. We don't know anything. So they invite the boys over to the house, and the boys are standing in the living room waiting for the girls, because Lux said she's going to go wait in the car and her sisters will be down momentarily. So, they just stand there and wait for a minute, right? And then they hear like a noise, and they hear a noise. I don't want to give away the whole thing, but they hear a noise. They go to investigate. After the investigation, they just run from the house. I don't want to say too much, but that night, the other 4 sisters. And so that's basically the whole book. It was boring. Anyway, I don't know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that it was boring, but it was boring. Anyway, we're going to pick our next book. So let me go to look up the tasks here, or the challenges. At least we have one challenge done. Next will be challenge faves. Oh, I forgot to turn screen record on, so let me turn that on real quick. Okay, challenge faves, and then browse qualifying books here. Hopefully we can get something not boring this time. It says readers most read books of the reading challenge so far. Okay. Freedom, I've already read that one. I like to go through all of them again, so this will be sped up for you. Actually, let's do 2 challenges, because Wuthering Heights, and you're going to see it in the screen record as well, is on this challenge, and I'm currently listening to the audiobooks of Wuthering Heights, which I am counting towards reading. So let's go, we're going to count that one for the most read books in the challenge so far, and we're going to go on to chart toppers for our physical book. Okay, so browse qualifying books here. That kind of worked out in our favor, if you ask me. Ooh, Yesteryear is on my list, but is it part of this challenge? This is readers hit new books of the year so far. I mean, it's here, so it might be. But let's see what else is on here, because that one's not free. I would have to buy it. Which would mean I'd have to wait until Justin got home, which is fine. He's gonna be home in like an hour to buy it, so it wouldn't be that bad of a thing, because he's got more Kindle money, or yeah, more Amazon money saved up than me from digital rewards. I should say digital rewards saved up than me. Okay, so I think we're gonna go with Yesteryear, which is this book, and I'm going to have Justin get that on his Kindle rewards when we get home. Or when we get home, when he gets home. Actually, I might have enough because I just had a return go through. But that's going to be our next book. So I will be back with you guys. I don't want you guys to see my Amazon. That's for me. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so tired. I've been reading all day and that book is so boring. So I gave it 2 stars though, because if they would take out all the junk that's not necessary, it would be a decent book. But they put too much unnecessary crap in there. So anyway, I will be back to talk about Yesteryear and then we'll pick our next book. Okay, so not book related. Yes, I got my hairs cut. And I haven't really brushed my hair today, so it's fine. Anyway, not technically book related, but I tortured myself and watched the Virgin Suicides movie. I feel like the producer of the movie had the same thoughts on the book as I did, that there was just too much backstory of not really that relevant of characters, and it wasn't in the book, so or in the movie, but the movie was still boring and I don't recommend it. But to combat that boringness, I decided to watch another movie that was also a book I read, but a book I read a while ago, like years ago at this point, and that was Regretting You, and that one is by Colleen Hoover. I can't remember exactly what I said about the book. I know for a fact I said that it started out slow. I did end up liking the book, but honestly, I think the movie might be better, but the movie follows the book pretty much exactly. Like, they leave out some details here or there, but like for the most part, it's pretty exact. Because like in the book, it actually like has the, I'll just spoil it for you. In the book, okay, so if you haven't read Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, first of all, spoilers coming, so skip ahead. I don't know to where, but skip ahead. And so in the book, it even describes the accident between the father and the sister. Okay, not for father and sister, husband and sister. So the woman is married to the guy, and then the girl that dies in the car accident with her husband is her sister. You later learn they're having an affair, but they kind of describes that whole thing in the book, like it goes to them. And so it kind of, the movie kind of skips that POV. Like, it doesn't show the accident. It doesn't even show that they're having an affair, where in the book, you know, they're pretty much having an affair before, you know, you get to the part where the mom and the daughter discover that, well, the mom, because she tells the daughter, if I remember correctly. Sometimes in the movie she tells the daughter. I'm trying to think, I think in the book the daughter finds something or something. I don't remember, but it's been a while. But from my recollection, the movie is probably better. Now there's another movie that apparently I read the book of, and the fact that I cannot remember the book after watching the trailer for the movie makes me think that maybe the book wasn't that good. And that was, it's another Colleen Hoover book. The one about the woman who was drinking and they had a car accident. I kind of have a recollection because when I was watching the trailer, I was like, it seems familiar, but like, I don't remember in detail, you know, but I apparently read the book because my Goodreads said I read the book, and I don't mark things as read if I didn't read them. So I need to go back and see what I even rated that. So I'm sorry, I'm sitting here rocking. I'm probably making you guys all sick. I'm sorry. Also, I switched to my mom's chair because my back was hurting so bad. That chair, this chair that's got boxes in it now, it leans back a lot and it was hurting my back. And also, it's just not comfortable anymore. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys this, and this shouldn't really be part of the book review thing, but whatever, I'll tell you. We bought those chairs off Amazon. You got two of them, you got both of them, and it was like $500 for 2 chairs. You can go to a furniture store and one recliner is going to be over $500. So we're like, oh, that's a great deal. They were so comfortable for probably the first 3 months. And then my husband says they're still fine. He says that he's comfortable in them. I have a lot of back problems and stuff like that. So my body is a little bit more picky than his, I guess. But they're not very comfortable to me. I do like the fact that they have heat in them. So I will still sit in one of the two every now and then if my back is really hurting and turn the heat on. But anyway, that's not part of the book review. I just wanted to mention that's why you see me sitting in this chair. You see them. See this. Look. I'm trying to decide if I want to bring the furniture back out and go back to sitting on the Chase Lounge. I had a hard time getting in and out of it, which was one of the reasons I wanted like a recliner in the first place. But I don't know. It's either we're selling those without the couch, the center part, because the center part is in my office, but it folds out into like a full size, queen size, something like that bed. And so I want to keep that for like a guest bed, basically. But I know what I want. I've actually found what I want. It's just a matter of measuring and seeing if it will work. And finding it in not leather, because we don't want leather. So, yeah. Anyway, what is that movie called? The like Things Left Unsaid. I don't remember, but it's about the one where the girl, I don't remember what it's called, but apparently I read the book. I'm gonna go find out about it. I don't even remember. It must not have been that good because I don't remember reading. What is that? I'm getting so old, guys, so old. Sometimes I look at myself and I feel like I look like my mom, and other times I look at myself and I feel like I look like my grandma. And I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, either one of those. I love both women. I definitely love my mother to death. But I don't want to see her face when I look in the mirror because then I'm just going to be sad. So anyway, yeah, let me let you go. I am like halfway through Yesteryear, and I'll update you guys when either that or Wuthering Heights is done. I'll listen to that on audiobook, and if I literally just sat here and listened to it, it would be done already. But I usually just listen to it when I'm cleaning. So, yeah. So the other movie that I was talking about that I haven't watched it yet, but I read the book. It was Reminders of Him. And I went on Goodreads because remember I said I can't really remember it. I rated it 5 stars. I even left a review. Normally I don't write reviews. I just leave like a star rating. I talked about how I couldn't put the book down. And now I can't remember it, but it was like 3 years ago that I read that book. So it's possible that if I watch the movie, things will come back to me. I don't know, but yeah, that was interesting when I was like, the trailer looked vaguely familiar. Like I was like, at first I was like, are they remaking another movie? Like, because they've been doing all these movie remakes lately, and it's kind of annoying. Like, come up with another idea. I don't need you to remake a classic movie from my generation. Just come up with something else, right? Anyway, so yeah, apparently I rated it 5 stars. I don't have that many 5-star books, so now I want to kind of read it again, but also I don't. Like, because I've already read it, and so it's not going to count towards the challenge, like my reading goal, if I reread it, right? I mean, because how would you do that? You just change the date that you reread it? Is there a reread option? I need to look at that. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I want to pop in here and tell you guys about that. All right, good morning. So I finished Yesteryear last night. I rated it 5 stars. I'm pretty sure I hit 5 stars on it. This book is so good. Honestly, I could have just read it, but last night I forced myself to finish it. I don't know what time it was when I went to bed, but I finished it. I have a doctor's appointment this morning, so probably not the best idea since I had to wake up early. But I'm going to kind of tell you what it's about, but not really. So it's about this lady, and in the Natalie's the main character, and you kind of see her first in her actual, what she presumes is present day. And then you see her in, kind of not see her, but you see her in the past. And I don't want to give it away, but the twist to this book was so good. But what I can say about this book is that I think it did a very good job on kind of pointing out some of the hypocrisy of social media and how people perceive themselves to be better than they actually are. I know there's people out there that do. I probably am guilty of watching some of the people that do that, and I usually, if I feel like they're too fake, I stop watching them. But also at the same time, it's like, damn it, it's entertaining. So I don't want to just quit watching them just because maybe they're fudging things a little bit. Because here's the thing. I tell you guys almost everything, but there's things I don't tell you guys. But I'm also not out here buying store-bought bread and saying I made it. So, which is one of the things she does in here, is she talks about how one of her things got so many likes, and this guy was talking about how she makes her own bread and blah, 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 blah. And so online personas are not always what they seem, is basically how I would describe this. But the whole thing about it is how it ended up biting her in the butt. The being fake got her in a lot of trouble, and she kind of lost her mind a little. I'll give that part away. She kind of lost her mind a little. And things just kind of escalated. We'll say escalated from there. It's a very good book. I think this is the shortest I've ever told you guys about a book. Okay, so Natalie, main character. Actually, let me read the blurb for you guys because I loved this book, but it's so good I don't want to give too much away because I want you to read it. It's literally about the whole social media thing. And when I read the book, okay, do you know that the girl, I don't know her name because I don't watch her. I never watched her. I just heard about her through these, I don't know what you call them, the gossip rag on YouTube. Anyway, oh my god, she used to be a ballerina, and now she traded it all in to be a farmer's wife, basically. And the life she used to portray on the internet is that, she was this farming wife, and she did everything herself, and what she wasn't showing behind the scenes was all of the staff they had. And that's one of the things in this book. And I almost think that Caro Clara Burke used that trad wife, which I hate that word anyway, but I think she used that one as inspiration for this book. Anyway, it says a traditional woman, a beautiful wife, and a mother who sells her pioneer lifestyle of raw milk and fresh farm eggs to her millions of social media followers suddenly awakens cold, filthy, and terrified in the brutal reality of 1855, where she must unravel whether this living nightmare is an elaborate hoax, a twisted reality show, or something far more sinister in the sensational debut novel. My name was Natalie Heller Mills, and I am perfect at being alive. Natalie is a traditional lifestyle, Natalie lives a traditional lifestyle. I lost my start. Her charming farmhouse is rustic. Her husband is a handsome cowboy. Her 6 children, each more delightful than the last. So what if there are nannies and producers behind the scenes? Her kitchen hiding industrial grade fridges and ovens. Her husband, the Republican equivalent of a Kennedy. What Natalie's followers, all 8 million of them, don't know won't hurt them. Sorry, this dyslexia is too early in the morning for me. Blah, 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 blah. Won't hurt them. And the angry women, the privileged Ivy League coastal elite haters who call her an anti-feminist iconoclast, they're sick with jealousy because Natalie isn't simply living the good life. She's living the ideal, just so happens to be building an empire from it. Until one morning, she wakes up in a life that isn't hers. Her home, her husband, her children, they're all familiar, but something's off. Her kitchen is warmed by a sputtering fire rather than electricity. Her children are dirty and strange, and her soft-handed husband is suddenly a competent farmer. Just yesterday, Natalie was curating photos of homemade jam for her Instagram, and now she's expected to haul firewood and hand wash clothes until her fingers bleed. Has she become the unwitting star of a brutal reality show? Could it really be time travel? Is she being tested by God, by Satan? When Natalie suffers a brutal injury in the woods, she realizes 2 things. This is not her beautiful life, and she must escape by any means possible. A gripping, electrifying novel is as dark, funny, and as it is frightening. Yesteryear is a gimlet of tradition, fame, faith, and the grand performance of womanhood. Yes. Now, also, if you're offended by God, this book isn't for you, because they do talk about God a whole lot and how she's very Christian. Her husband's family are Christians. I say that with quotes because they're Christians, but they don't act very Christian-like. So, yeah, a 5-star book for me personally, and I don't rate anything 5 stars really unless it's like really, really good. And when I'm saying this is really, really good, I actually really liked it. There have been book people that I've watched that absolutely hate this book, but me, I loved it. And so anyway, on to the next. Let's see what we're gonna read next. I'm gonna do this really quick before I have to leave, that way if I want to read at the doctor's office, I can. So let's go to our challenges here, and let me get my screen record going. And I think Staff Shelf is the one that had Wuthering Heights on it. So let's check that real quick because I don't want to. Okay, nope, Staff Shelf is the one we're picking off of. Okay. So, just gonna flip through this here. And look at some of the options. Now, I do want to read this Abby Jimenez, Yours Truly. I've heard a lot of book people talk about that one, so let's go ahead and continue to see. A lot of these are really like just not my thing, really. Especially that. Oh my gosh, this person rode. This person read East of Eden. I tried reading that in high school because I wanted to write this whole paper and submit it for a scholarship, and I couldn't get past like the first chapter. Like it's a chonky book. It's like this thick. Oh my gosh. And I bought it too. And I carried it around for the longest time thinking I was actually going to try reading it again. Never read it. This one might be good. Make the Play. Oh, it's a second in a series. I don't like doing... I would have to read number 1, and that's a third in a series. But yeah, I would have to read the first one. That's second in a series. So yeah, and then I want to read Funny Story by Emily Henry, but I really don't want to buy another book right now, and I would have to buy it. So I think we're gonna go with the Abby Jimenez, Yours Truly. So let's do that, and I'll be right back. Ugh. Yours Truly is book 2 of 3. I guess we're buying a book, so that's because Emily Henry's the only other one, and I know I already have Funny Story on my. No, it says I don't. Okay. Well, I figured it. Oh, there was even more books. Let me just flip through them off script here. Off script. Alright, let me just turn screen record back on because the Charm Offensive, what's this one? Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. The Hating Game. Romantic comedy. Let's do some details here. 364 pages. It's got a lot of rewards. It's a romantic comedy. Bitter high school rivals, clashing test scores. Sorry. The Charm Offensive. This one is also 300 and something pages. Let's see. Let's read the one that has the better rating. This one's got 4.08. This one's got 4.01. So we'll read the charm offense. But hold on, there's more. Before we totally commit to that, there's actually still more books. Oh Lord, I don't know why I thought we were at the end. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I haven't even seen the movie. I could read the book though. Those are the Jinbot Shan. That's just not even in my realm of things I would normally read. So, The Fox Wife. What's this? It is. Some people think foxes are similar to ghosts because we go around collecting Qui. Okay, this one seems like it might be out of my wheelhouse, but ooh, and it's long, 390 pages. And it's got a lower rating than the other one, so no, we won't go with that one. Oh my God, this thing just keeps going and going and going. The House on the Cerulean Sea. It's number 1 in a novel. This is very familiar sounding. I think we're going to go with The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. So let me see if we can find that one. It says it's number 1. I don't know why the Abby Jimenez one did not say 2 of 3 when I opened it, but this is number 1. So give me a second. Okay, so that was kind of a rushed thing. And this one might be a little rushed too because I'm sitting out waiting to go in the doctor's. I always like to leave super early because you never know how traffic's gonna be. Anyway, so I'm here 30 minutes early. Not that you guys care. Anyway, I didn't give you a fair review of Yesteryear. Like I rated this book 5 stars and I gave you guys the most rushed version. Like, because I really don't want to give anything away, but at the same time, I kind of want to just tell you everything. So anyway, Natalie is the protagonist, the person we're learning about, right? And she is a social media influencer, and she feels like in the beginning, her excuse is that her husband is worthless, blah, 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 and she needs to make money to keep the ranch that they have because her father-in-law gave them a $5 million loan to buy Yesteryear, and she didn't realize that her husband was not going to turn a profit on anything. Like, she originally wanted to buy it to be a cattle ranch, and her husband did not want to be a cattleman, so he wanted to grow crops. Needless to say, he was not very good at it, and they were just not profiting anywhere near where she thought they would be by the time the money ran out. And so she found this course about making millions off of your account, basically Instagram account, because she was on Instagram. And so she took this course, and first of all, let me just say, she is not a very good Christian woman. She's one of those I would put in quotation marks because she feels like and I blame it on the way she was raised, because in the end of the book it talks about how her mother was raised and her mother raised them to be the same way, and it's just like this very brainwashed thing on what a woman should be. A woman is meant to take care of the house, breed children, so on and so forth. And anyway, so she already has this mindset that this is what she has to do. And then when she met her husband in college, they had a quick courtship, and in the end they talk about, basically they should have never gotten married. They rushed everything. And that's another part of the book that I like, that it basically shines a light on fast courtships, which, I mean, technically I did a fast courtship, not to marriage per se, but like I moved in with Justin like 2 months, not even 2 months after we made it official. Actually, like a month after we made it official. So we made it official on our third date, and a month later I had moved in with him, because basically the choice came down to, well, I didn't really give him a choice. I told him I was probably going to have to move back to Indiana because they were cutting my hours at work. And he didn't want that, apparently, because he asked me to move in with him. And so I did, because I didn't want to go back to Indiana either. So anyway, that's not the point of the story. I'm getting off track. The point of the story is it kind of shines light on the negativities of fast courtships. So it's kind of hitting a bunch of different people at one time. I think it mainly sheds light onto the extreme Christianity thoughts, where we need to live like the old days. Like, her husband literally slaps her when she's in the past, or anyway, you'll have to read the book because I don't want to give it away. So when she's in the past, she tries to run away and she says F you to her husband, and he says something like something about Christian women don't talk to their husbands like that, and slaps her really hard. And she's like stunned by this. She is stunned that this man had just hit her. And anyway, I don't want to give too much away. I keep saying that, but then I keep talking. But I just love how, like, it kind of hits on not only the negative effects of social media, but some of, like, the brainwashing in these Christian cult-like religions. And I say that as someone who, I don't claim to any type of religion, okay? I'm just saying that now. I believe in God. I believe in His Word. I have my beliefs, and God knows my beliefs within Him, and that's good for me. I don't need to go to church and have someone tell me what I need to believe, because a lot of the times, if you go to like 5 different churches, they're preaching 5 different things, 5 different belief systems. And to me, I feel like, I feel like that can be a dangerous thing. It's not only dividing us in our faith, because, I get it, like, we all interpret the Bible differently. But the thing I don't agree with is that people tend to just believe everything that's preached to them instead of thinking for themselves. That's the understanding me and God have, is that I still have my free brain, and that I'm going to believe what I want to believe. Like, there's a girl on YouTube who sits there and basically says the devil's in everything, and it's like, where do you find joy in life? Because I'm drinking coffee. The devil probably in coffee, but in my heart, I know God, and God knows that I don't see this coffee as an evil thing. I don't see it as hindering my life, that I still believe in Him, and this coffee is not negatively affecting my belief system in him. Do you see what I'm saying? Kind of like one of the things she talks about, I'm off topic. That's another video. If you want to hear more about my views on some of the Christian influencers, let me know, because I will be more than happy to talk about it. Anyway, back to the book. So very Christian. I use Christian as like in context because it's the very extreme Christianity that's preached a lot in this book, like nuclear family, you know, traditional values, which I completely stand behind to an extent. I do not think that women need to be completely submissive to their husbands. And in this book, it's preached that women need to be submissive to their husbands. And not like, they don't directly say it that way, but it's implied. It's very heavily implied. And that's one of the things about, that's probably one of the only things about the book I do not like. But it basically talks about how this woman, Natalie, she's worshipped basically by all these angry women, is what she calls them. It's people that are constantly spewing negativity on her account. And then there's also her followers, or fanatics, I think is what she calls them. And they believe every word she says. They believe the lifestyle. They're like, oh, I need to definitely do this, and blah, blah, blah. My life is so miserable. I think it'd be better if I blah, 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 blah. And it just, I don't know. I really liked this book, and I think I like this book because it, as a person who consumes a lot of media, in fact, I've cut back on so much social media, you guys don't even know. Like, I barely, like, YouTube used to be, I would watch it from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. I hardly watch YouTube anymore. I still watch YouTube, don't get me wrong, but it's like a hardly, like, maybe, it used to be like 8 to 16 hours a day that I would watch YouTube, and now I'm down to maybe like 4, right? So very limited on the YouTube consumption anymore, to the fact that now I kind of limit on what I'm watching. I still subscribe to every single person I was subscribed to, but like I kind of limit what I'm watching. And I still add people, like, for example, I found, not important to the book. Anyway, I get off topic so many times, and I'm so sorry for that. Anyway, guys, it's just a great book. And I really, if you have, like, if you're like me and you think some of the stuff that is shown on social media is ridiculous, you'd love this book. Like, I absolutely loved it, and I think it's because it mainly talks about those type of influencers that I personally don't agree with. Like, show the dirty behind the scenes stuff too. I don't want to see that your life is perfect, because here's the thing, and the book talks about this, so it's not off topic, because they talk about how her producer, she hires a producer, and her producer suggests showing the other staff, showing the behind the scenes, and she said to her producer, no one wants to see that. They don't come to my channel because they want to see all the imperfections. They come here because they think my life is perfect. And here's the thing, I don't like perfection. Perfection is not real. I want to see the truth. And so when you're putting out there a persona that's completely fake, completely not you, it kind of turns me off a little. And that's why I liked the book, because it kind of touches on that. Well, it touches on that a lot. That's like the whole premise of the book, is that she's not being true to who she really is. And anyway, I gotta go, cause doctor, but, and I'll do my best to cut and piece this together, guys. I'm so sorry it's all over the place, but I really did love this book, and I felt like my first review of it seemed like, oh, I didn't really like this book. I just rated it 5 stars, and telling you guys to rate it 5 stars. But I really do truly love this book for so many reasons. I just, all of the reasons. Like, if I went into detail, it would totally give the book away, and I'd rather you guys just go read it. Anyway, see you guys soon. Alright, guys. Oh. Can you see me okay? I feel like you're usually lower. It's fine. Last night I finished The House on the Cerulean Sea. I'm honestly so excited. There's a second book and I'm so excited to read it. This almost was a 5 star. I don't know how to do like the point stars on Goodreads from the app. I'm sure there's a way. But if I could have, it would have been 4.5. I loved this book. I know it sounds so odd for me to say because it took so long to read. I would say I've been in a reading slump. I've just had a lot more on my mind that's really been hard for me to concentrate on said book. Honestly, you know what I think it is? I started watching the show The Chosen, and it's occupied a lot of my mind, honestly, because, you know, if you don't know what it is, it's about Jesus's life from the start of his disciples to crucifixion. Season 5 ends with the betrayal, so there is going to be season 6. I absolutely recommend that show. I know this isn't a show review, this is book reviews, but I'll talk more about that show in a normal vlog as well. But anyway, so it occupied a lot of my time and my mind because, you know, you just sit there after you finish however many episodes you watch in a row and you just sit there and you think, you're like, oh my God. And I know it's a fiction show based on historical events, but it's mind-boggling, like, to me, the accuracy of the time period itself, like with the whole Romans and stuff like that. And so yeah, 10 out of 10 recommend The Chosen. Now back to The House on the Cerulean Sea. This is about a guy named Linus who is a caseworker for the Department of Magical Youth. And it's a longer name than that, but it's basically the Department of Magical Youth. And he, you know, he's got a very mundane life. Like, it's so repetitive. You know, he wakes up, he goes to work, he comes home, he listens to music, goes to bed, wakes, you know, it's just a repeat. Anyway, he is called up to extremely upper management. The name for that made me laugh because it's like you really couldn't come up with a different thing except for extremely upper management. And it's like so secretive, like, you know, if you get sent to extremely upper management, everyone just assumes you're being canned. And I'm pretty sure this takes place like in Europe somewhere, just based on some of the wording and stuff like that. And the fact that he talks about how it's always dreary and rainy, and that's what a lot of Europeans complain about, is that it's dreary and rainy. So sorry, I'm not trying to be distracted, but I really need to clean that window on the outside, and it's just never gonna happen. So anyway, no, I'm not going to do that. So, anyway, Linus is called up to extremely upper management, and they give him an assignment to go to Marceris. I don't know how to say that name, Marceris or something like that. And, Linus being Linus and knowing everything about the Department of Magical Youth, say there's no orphanage in any place called Marceris, and that's where he learned that it's a secret orphanage, that it's classified level 4, meaning that no other departments lower than level 4 know about it, and that he's being brought in based on his work ethic, basically. Like, he's saying that he can be very what's the word I'm looking for? Unbiased, maybe, or biased. I don't know. He can be objectional. There we go. So, he's assigned to go there for 1 month and investigate the orphanage. And he's not only investigating the children of the orphanage, but the orphanage master as well, because they call them masters. So like a headmaster, but an orphanage master. Anyway. Sorry. Anyway, so Linus arrives at this island and he's just awestruck because he has a mouse pad on his desk at work that says, "Don't you wish you were here?" And it is of the beach. And he immediately sees the sea and he's like, well, first he noticed the sun, because apparently they don't hardly ever see the sun where he lives. And so he noticed the sun, and then he noticed the sea, and he was just awestruck by the beauty of it. And anyway, he was under strict instructions not to look at the files of the children until he was on the train. And I don't understand even then, because I mean, he could have just waited in the hotel or something for the next train to head back. So that didn't make any sense to me, that part of the storyline. Like, you can't look at what you're investigating until you are on the train there. So he didn't look at it on the train. He didn't even look at it until he got off the train and was waiting for his ride. And the very first file he opened was for Lucy, aka Lucifer, the Antichrist, but in child form. So Lucy is a 6-year-old child, and so that's the only file he read, and he passed out. Like, he fainted from just that. And so he didn't get a chance to look at any of the other files until he got to the island, which he cursed himself by not reading more of the files before he got there, because he was just so stunned about what he learned. The first child he encountered was Talia, who is a gnome, and she's rare because female gnomes are very rare, apparently. But she's got a beard and everything like normal gnomes do. So, male gnomes, I should say. So, but I guess that's just, in this world, all gnomes have beards. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm trying not to say too much, but Talia is very scary to him at first, because she talks about hitting him over the head with a shovel and buried his body in the garden, and just the whole time. Later on in the book, he starts laughing when the children say stuff like this, because he knows that, it's just like little empty threats that they're saying, that they know murder is wrong, blah blah blah. So anyway, he meets Talia first, and then Fee, which is a sprite, and she is a forest sprite, if I'm remembering correctly. And then he meets Theodore, who is I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but werevin, I don't know. I'm guessing it's like supposed to be like a mixture of maybe a werewolf, vampire, and raven. That's my guess, just based off the spelling of the name. But I could be wrong. Anyway, he doesn't speak in like language you and I would understand right away. He speaks in chirps. And like later on in the book, Linus learns to interpret his chirps, like he can understand him towards the end of the book. Anyway, not important. The next one he meets is Chauncey, who is a creature they've never encountered before, so there's no information on him at all, not even with the Department of Magical Youth, because his kind has never been discovered before. And what they can gather is he's some sort of creature from the sea, because he tends to omit salt water sometimes. He's very jelly-like, like almost like a jellyfish like texture, just the way they kind of describe him. But he's got tentacles and like maybe a squid or something, an octopus, I don't know. But yeah, so he meets him, and then I feel like I'm missing one besides Lucy. How many children were that? Talia, Fee, Theodore, Chauncey, Lucy. Okay, no, that's right. 5 children. And then he finally meets Lucy. And then he meets the master of the orphanage, which is Arthur Parnassus. And then there is another sprite, the one that picked him up from the train station, whose island all of this is on, because sprites are very territorial people. And Zoe is her name. She is the owner of the island, basically. That is her island. She's the sprite of that island. She gets to say who comes and goes on the island, basically. Anyway, those are the main characters of the book, and we get to learn a lot about them pretty quickly. And then you kind of learn that the townspeople don't really want them there. And later, Linus kind of learns that possibly it's because the children don't ever go off the island. So he talks Arthur into taking them for a day trip. Goes pretty well, but there was just, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to give it away. It goes pretty well except for a couple incidents. And then basically Linus leaves at the end of the month, goes back to Department of Magical Youth, gives his final report, but he's more expressive now. He's not in his bubble anymore. His bubble has been popped and he feels free, and he kind of just starts speaking his mind. He no longer holds things back. He's no longer Mr. Obedient. He is a changed man. And after I don't know exactly, I'm sure they said it and I just missed it, but he's back at work for some time, and he's sneaking out files of children and things like that. There's this big this secret mission he's working on. And then once he finds out the orphanage is safe, that it's not going to be closed, the children aren't going to be separated, he quits. He just leaves his whole life behind in that part of the world and takes off to Marseilles. I'm saying that wrong, I know I am. And anyway, he takes off to there because that's where his heart belongs, and he's hoping that they will have him back. So he puts everything in that basket. Anyway, he goes back to the island. Of course, they accept him back because, for one, the master is in love with Linus, and the children all know this. So I guess I should say that Linus is gay. So if you guys do have issue with that, I don't personally, but I know there's a lot of people who do. I've actually seen someone who said that they DNF'd this book because there was homosexual characters in it. I'm sorry. I know everyone's entitled to their belief system, but like, to DNF a book because you personally don't, I don't know. That's just silly to me. Honestly, like, almost every TV show now has a gay character. Even Hallmark had a gay character in it. That's why, if you guys didn't know, that's why Candace Cameron no longer works with Hallmark. She moved over to a different network, like Great American Country or something like that, or something that has the standards she agrees with, basically. And look, I get it. I know that I'm going off on a rant now. I get it, but like, I don't. I get that you might not want, but times are changing. Granted, are they changing for the better? I'll keep that political section of my life to myself, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't agree with a lot that's going on, but that's all I'm going to say. If you have more questions, you can ask me about it in the comments, and maybe I'll answer them depending on what they are. But anyway, that means we need to pick out another book. And I'm going to be honest with you, if I don't see anything in the challenge section that sounds even remotely interesting, I'm just going to read a book I've already downloaded, because I've downloaded a couple books that looked interesting that were free. One was free. One I was going to run out of, like, my credits were going to expire, so I just bought one. So, but anyway, I'm trying to do the challenge books this month, like I said. So I'm going to flip through the challenges. Let me turn my screen record on. And we are 12 books ahead of schedule. We are at 39 of 50. 6 of 11 challenges complete. So let's browse through these. Oh, Somewhere Beyond the Sea. That's the next book in the series. Yes, I think that's the one we're going to go with, honestly. Let's keep looking to see if there's like a romance or something. Or I might try to find something shorter, because that book was a little long. I don't know if the second book is going to be just as long or not. I'm gonna look through the rest of the challenges. I'll screen record them, and then I'll be back when I pick a book. Well, I did say I would screen record it, so I guess you guys get to just watch a screen recording and oh man, it is what it is, guys. I honestly don't even know if this is the right screen recording. Just all honesty. We're gonna learn together because I know what book's next, and so far this doesn't seem like the screen we're picking something from. So I don't know what this is. I really don't. But anyway, I don't know. That's all I can say. I don't honestly know what's going on here. Oh man. Apparently this takes 6 minutes to do. So I'm just gonna speed it up for you. Hold on. All right. So we've chose The Rules for the Summer by Megan Quinn. Now, let's go back just a minute because you probably saw in the screenshot, I don't know how fast I sped it up, but screenshot in the screen recording, I put a hold on Summer That I Turned Pretty because even though I've seen the show in its entirety, I do want to read all 3 books. So I put a hold on that. So for some reason, I'm third in line. So for some reason, like, it gets to me because I don't know if you know how Libby works. I don't even really know how Libby works yet. I'm still new, but apparently that you can skip your place in line and that it go to the next person and then it comes back to you or something like that. I don't remember exactly. So just because I had another book come up that way, and I really hope it comes back to me in August because it's one of my TBR books, but it was too early to get, like, I was 16th in line or something like that, so I didn't think I'd get it that quick. Anyway, so Rules of the Summer for Megan Quinn will be the book unless The Summer I Turn Pretty comes up before I start reading this. And then I will update you guys that it is The Summer I Turned Pretty. It wasn't free. The third book was free with Kindle, but that one wasn't free with Kindle. The Summer I Turned Pretty wasn't free with Kindle. And I'm trying to, utilize my Kindle Unlimited as much as possible because I do pay for it. Sorry, I'm downloading the Rules for Summer onto the Kindle, and then I need to go plug my Kindle up because it's at 29%. I don't remember the last time I charged it. This is my new Kindle. My last Kindle, I would have had to charge it like every day after reading, basically, because it just does not have a good battery life anymore. We'll do read now. Anyway, so yeah, that's the book that we're doing. All right, so I finished Rules for the Summer. It was so good. I rated it 4 stars. It's by Megan Quinn. I think I've already said that. I don't know. It was in our challenges for, I think, like summer reads or something like that. Anyway, it was really good. Like I said, it is about Theo, who is a British man, and Rinley. Oh my God. I'm pretty sure it's Rinley. Oh, yeah, Rinley. So, okay, here's the thing. Theo was dared to sign himself up on a fiance site, like kind of like a mail order bride type thing. And Renly thought she was signing up for a financier, like someone who would invest in her business. She was drunk, and her aunt's tablet was cracked, and you could barely read the screen. That's how it's written in the book. So, sorry, my allergies are acting up so bad lately. Anyway, so they ended up matching on the site, and Theo flew all the way to America to propose because his father gave him an ultimatum: find someone to marry by the end of summer, or arranged marriage, basically. And so Theo goes to America because he matched with this girl to just propose. He gets there, of course she turns him down because she wasn't looking for a fiance. She was looking for someone to finance her business that the town kind of gave her. I don't want to give it away too much, so but yes, of course she turns him down, but like somewhere throughout like his persistence, basically, it came up that, you know, he could just give her the money for her business, and she of course was like, what are you asking for, you know, basically, what do you want in return? And he's like, nothing, you know, I'm doing this because, you know, you need a financer. I want to help you. And so he gave her the money for the business. The town, not the whole town, but the business society of this town is completely against this business. In fact, they picked her because they thought she would fail. The reason they picked her, I just said that, the reason they picked her is because they wanted her to fail, and the reason because they want her to fail is because they want to bring in basically a big chain store, kind of like a Starbucks, but they never actually said what chain. And the town has rules against that, because basically saying that if an existing business can be, you know, given to someone in the town, basically they do like an auction type thing, and you put in your bid, you put in your application, not really an auction because you don't put money into it, you put in your application and they pick you, and that's kind of how it worked. But the only way a bigger business can get in is if the person fails and the business goes under and they can't find someone else to take the business, basically. So they were hoping for her to fail, and when she found this out, it kind of like put more fire. At first she was kind of discouraged. She was like, oh, they're gonna set me up to fail. They want me to fail, blah, 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 blah. Well, Theo ends up helping her out, and along the way they develop a friendship, and he's even helping her in the store. She's helping him to become a real boy. That's his wording, not hers, because he grew up in a very privileged life and he's never had to do anything for himself. And so she teaches him how to use tools, how to clean, just a whole bunch of different things, right? And so they develop this friendship, and then the friendship kind of, you know, turns into love. And I like romance books because they're very predictable. I should just say that. They're all very predictable. I haven't found a romance book that caught me off guard. And I think that's why I don't think I've ever had a 5-star romance before. But anyway, yeah, it's a really good book. I definitely recommend it. Although I just said it's predictable, but like, it's a romance book. I mean, do you expect there to be misery at the end of it? No. Otherwise, it would not fall under the romance category. So, very predictable, but still really good book. I did not think I would have read it as fast as I did. Because I looked at the length of it. Honestly, I looked at the length because I'm like, was sitting there trying to get multiple books in before the month ends, right? And I don't remember how many pages it is now. It's not telling me when I go to book details. It did before, but it's not now. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I rated it the 4 stars. Usually, okay, see, this is how my rating system works. If it keeps my interest and I like it, like I wasn't bored, I really enjoyed it, but there was no wow, 4 stars. Almost every book is a 4-star unless it's like kind of drags, and then it goes down from there. And like, for example, Virgin Suicides, I give a 1 star. If I could give a 0 star, I would. I know that would be like DNF, but I actually did finish it, so unfortunately I should have DNF'd it, but like I had spent so much time already on it that I'm like, let's just push through. It was so boring, like so boring to the fact I did not ever sit there and go, oh, let me go lay down so I can read, you know? Whereas like most books, I'm like, okay, I'm done really watching TV. I'm kind of bored of TV. Let me go lay down and read. That book did not do it. This book, however, Rules for Summer, did that. Anyway, I started the next book already, Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. It is the second book in the Cerulean Sea series. And I'm already on, I think, chapter 5. Of course, I don't know because I'm in the middle of a chapter. I'm pretty sure it's the middle of chapter 5. Yeah, chapter 5. So I've been I started it last night. I finished this Saturday night, and so I didn't get to do my recap right away. And then Sunday we were busy, so I didn't get to do it then. So I'm doing it now. It's very early in the morning. Not very early. It's later now. It's 9:23. I've been up since 5:30. Yes, I had a doctor's appointment this morning, like first appointment. I loved it because like I like this doctor. He's really nice and fun, and he likes to actually talk to you. And although he talks fast and he seems like he's trying to rush you, that's just how he is. It's his personality. He's just a really quick, fast talker. But he will literally sit there and just chit chat with you about non-medical things, and I like that in a doctor when they like to be, I don't want to say personal, that seems too intimate, but anyway, that's not important. That's not about books. That's not, see what I mean? I try to go off topic a lot. Anyway, I had a doctor's appointment. He upped my medicine again, which is fine. We're trying this one to the max to see if it will do anything. If at the max it doesn't, then we'll switch medicines. Like he said he would have liked to gradually go up, but at the same time, he has a feeling that the pain management doctor is just going to continue to try to raise the amount of pain medication, and so he would rather not have two things working against him. So we decided to just go ahead and bump it up to the max now and see if it works. Because right now, like, I'm on the lowest dose with the pain management doctor, because I finally just gave in and said, fine, give me some pain medicine. It doesn't do anything. Anyway, that's for a different video that you don't even get for 6 more months. So, well, No, you'll see one before then. Anyway, that's not important. So, yes, I'm reading this now. Hopefully, I will finish it before August 1st, which I should because it's Monday now and August 1st is Saturday. I think, honestly, if I finish this book like on the 30th or 31st, I'm just going to go ahead and start the first book in my August TBR. And then that way, I know that doesn't seem right because like I should start it in August, but like I don't want to pick another book that's going to fall into August when I already have books picked to read in August. Does that make sense? Probably not. But anyway, so hopefully I will be back for a recap for you, and then this will be the last way we do this video. I know it was really weird. I didn't like it while I was recording it, which is why I won't do it again, where we kind of like pick my books as we go. I think I'm gonna like doing the TBR jar way because it's kind of like a game in picking the books, and I think it makes it a little more fun to read, because you're not in a rut, so to say. Like usually I have a really hard time trying to figure out what I want to read. Like when I finished Rules for Summer or Rules for the Summer, I debated starting this book because it's like I don't know if I'm going to get it done by August. I should. The other one I read pretty quickly, so I should, but I say quickly, but I also had eye injections done while I was reading the last book, and so it did take me longer than it would normally take me to read a book. But I feel like the next month, for August, I have such variety of books to read, from romance to fantasy to, this is fantasy, by the way. I was like sitting there trying to figure out what is this genre, because I know I've read books in this genre before. I used to read fantasy all the time, but like not like sci-fi fantasy type books, but like ones with like witches and vampires, and all that's still considered fantasy because it's not real. Anyway, I know I shouldn't say that with quotes, but yeah. Anyway, I have a long day ahead of me. I have to do laundry. I'm gonna start Oreo balls because someone had requested them. They're paying for them. Like, I shouldn't say they're paying for them. They pay for the ingredients, so they pay however much it costs me to buy the ingredients. So they're not like actually paying for them. They're just buying the ingredients. So just so you guys don't send the IRS after me, I'm not making money off of people by making baked goods. They just buy the ingredients or pay for the ingredients. A lot of times, like flour and stuff like that, I don't include. It's just like, well, depending on how many they want. Now, obviously, if someone came to me with an order for like 100 chocolate chip cookies, they would be paying for the flour. But usually, if it's just like one batch, I don't include the flour price. But like the chocolate chips, because my chocolate chip cookies, I use Ghirardelli chocolate chips, and so they're expensive. They're like $8 a bag, even at Walmart. Before people come at me, it's little less than $8 a bag, but it's pretty expensive for the chocolate chips. Usually I like to buy, if I see them on sale, I like to stock up on them because people are all the time requesting chocolate chip cookies. And more recently it's been Oreo balls, and I'm afraid to make different types of treats for my husband to take to work for them now because I'm just afraid my list will grow and grow and grow, which is fine. I don't mind. It actually does give me something to do, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I will see you guys when I finish this book. Alright, so I've just finished listening to Worthington Heights by Emily Bronte. Is that how you even say her name? I think so. Anyway. Emily Bronte. I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name. Anyway, that's not the point. I finished listening to it, and I can say this. I think audiobooks are good if you can just sit and listen to them, which kind of defeats like for me, it was very hard for me to concentrate all the time. Like, I know the gist of where they're I can't even say the name. Anyway, I know the gist of the book. It's basically the book anyway. I have not seen the movie yet. I want to see the movie, which is why I listened to the book. And so from my account of listening, it's basically a story told from the eyes of a housekeeper, and she's kind of telling the story to a new tenant of the Grange. And what was his name? I don't remember his name, but so in the beginning he visits where the Heights. He visits the Heights, and because he had just rented this property, the Grange, from Heathcliff, who owns both properties basically. And so he went to go call upon him and talk, blah blah blah, and then he goes back to the Grange the next day, like after the storm, and he asks Nellie about, that's the housekeeper, about all about him, basically, like what's his story. And basically Heathcliff was a orphan that the master, Catherine's father, I done forgot his name, Earnshaw found and brought home. And then Catherine and Heathcliff became friends pretty much instantaneous, and grew kind of a fondness for each other. And Heathcliff kind of knew, like, in his current financialness, he would never be able to have Catherine's hand. But so he went off to make something for himself, and Catherine, well, they kind of fought because she said she was going to marry this other guy. I done forgot his name too. Or maybe he was Earnshaw. Oh my God, what was his name? Okay, yeah, his first name, I remember his first name, it's Edgar. And anyway, she said she was going to marry him, which I think they were cousins. I don't know. So, about that whole time period, even back in the medieval times, everyone married their family members. It's so weird. Like, this day and age, to think, if you think about it, if you really trace back your lineage, if you would find out that you are somehow in some way related to your spouse, wouldn't that be so weird? I don't know. I haven't looked that far into my ancestry. I know my mom was doing a bunch of work at some point. I don't even know whereabouts those files are. I have them somewhere. I just don't know where I put them. And I haven't looked through them. and I keep meaning to find them and look through them and stuff like that. I really want to get back into my ancestry. Anyway, that's not the point of the book, though. It's just weird, a weird time thing that, like, why would we? It's weird, like, and it's not just these books, but it's like TV shows and when they and it's not because it was false. That's what people did back then. They married their cousins and their siblings was a little more of a royal family thing, but most of the time they tried to just marry off a cousin, but if there was no like male heirs or female heirs or whatever, in the what I'm saying. Anyway, that's not important to the book. So I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember the book. Okay, so Catherine basically says she's going to marry Edgar, and Heathcliff kind of just says, I'm done, brokenhearted, leaves, blah, blah, blah. But while he's gone, he makes something for himself. I know I said that he left to go make something for himself, but it was after Catherine had already said she's going to marry Edgar. Anyway, Catherine and Edgar end up having a daughter, and her name was Catherine, and then Heathcliff married Edgar's sister, and they had a son who was named, I don't remember. Anyway, they ended up, young Catherine and Edgar, Heathcliff's son, got married by force. Heathcliff forced the marriage basically, and because Heathcliff's son was sick, basically. He was a sickly boy, and Heathcliff didn't even find out about him until like years and years after he was born, because Edgar's sister had left Heathcliff because she found Heathcliff to be a cruel person, which from like the story telling from the housekeeper's part, he was a pretty cruel person, and I can see why she would have left. Anyway, what was I saying? Catherine died giving birth to her daughter, if I'm remembering correctly. Like I said, it's really hard, the audiobooks, it's really hard to remember everything because like I'm focusing on other tasks at the same time as I'm trying to listen. So anyway, in the end, the end part, because it's like it goes, the tenant, I don't remember his name, ends up leaving, and then he comes back like many years later, maybe many months later, I don't remember. But when he comes back, Heathcliff is dead, and so the housekeeper then starts telling the story about him up to his death. And yeah, that's pretty much the book in a nutshell. Like, the movie trailers make it seem like some great romance, and it's a tragedy is what it is. It is a storytelling of a tragedy from the housekeeper's POV. So I'm not gonna say it's a love story. Most of the story is basically about Heathcliff trying to get revenge. Revenge on what? I don't know. Maybe revenge for the fact that Catherine married someone besides him. I don't really know the whole concept of it. That's why I said it's very hard listening to books. But that being said, I am going to continue on with audiobooks. And my next audiobook choice is going to be, hold on, I'll tell you. Because I've downloaded a couple of them that I want to listen to on audiobooks. Why won't it work? There we go. I'm gonna either do, it's either gonna be the Scarlet Letter or Sense and Sensibility. Let's see. Looks like Sense and Sensibility is pretty short. Not Sense, the Scarlet Letter is pretty short. So that'll probably be my next listen. And we'll see if I can concentrate on that one better. And maybe like, because I usually take these and listen to books when I'm at the grocery store as well, which is probably like, for me, it works really good because it keeps my mind focused on something. So I do actually pay attention to the book, but at the same time, I'm looking at for sale items. So I don't know. And anyway, that's going to be the next audiobook. So you'll hear about that in the August recap. But yeah, this honestly is going to be it for the reading recap because I did not get to finish Beyond the Sea, or I forget what it's called. Hold on, I'll tell you what it's called. It is called, why isn't it on here? It's on my Kindle, but it's not. Oh, here it is. Somewhere Beyond the Sea. I'm not gonna finish that. Probably, and I have, I think 40% more of the book to read. So we're gonna be getting a little bit late of a start of the August reading list. So it is what it is. You'll get the recap of that book in the next one as well. So I want to go ahead and thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below. Do you like listening to audiobooks? If so, how do you kind of get into that mode? Because for me, like, my brain just doesn't want to compute with that, which is odd. Because usually I learn better by hearing than by reading. Like in school, I always did better being told than being told to read. And so, anyway, that's it. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs up. Comment down below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Bye.